As chairman, CEO, and president of LG&E and KU Energy, Victor Staffieri has been a longtime business leader in the Louisville community. But long before coming to Kentucky, his professional career began in his home state of New York at Long Island Lighting Company, where he held several management positions, culminating in general counsel and secretary. His 12-year tenure there coincided with one of the most dynamic and challenging times in the energy industry, and the experience he gained was not only unique, but vital in preparing him for the present-day realities of the business.
I started working for them in the legal department when I was in law school. It was a very troubled utility. I had had a large nuclear power plant, which was under all kinds of attack from the federal government, from the local governments. It was very expensive, and it was being built at a time when all kinds of problems were arising. Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and each time that one of those events took place, it would delay the operation of the plant. It became huge. It became more than half of the balance sheet of the company. And this was a large company. The Long Island Lighting Company was probably the 13th largest company, a utility company in the United States. And so it was a very challenging time. But it was also a great place for a lawyer. And so I joined them immediately after law school, and I worked there for 12 years, from 1980 to 1992 as a lawyer. I ultimately became general counsel. But I learned so much because it was a troubled utility with all kinds of legal issues, and I think it served me well.
With experience like that, Vic was more than ready to take a position of leadership at LG&E, but making the move from familiar territory in the Northeast to the unfamiliar world of bourbon and thoroughbreds in the bluegrass was by no means a part of his original plan.
This is not a Kentucky accent, and so having come from New York, I did not know much about Kentucky, nor did my family, my wife at the time, and 3 children. And so we were pursued by Roger Hale, who asked us to come here and take a look. And after several times we said, no, we're not really interested. We ultimately came here and we fell in love with the city. My wife enjoyed it very much here. We thought it was a great opportunity. And 23 years later, here we are.
Upon his arrival in 1992 as general counsel, Vic quickly became a vital part of the LG&E team. And for the past quarter century, he's experienced firsthand what has probably been the greatest time of change in LG&E's history.
When I came here, we were a small utility, Louisville Gas and Electric. In 1998, we merged with Kentucky Utilities and just about doubled our size. And then we sold the company to a British firm for a pretty sizable cash premium that gave us very little choice. And then ultimately, we sold the British firm to a German firm, E.ON, and they held us for 12 years, and it was a great run. We learned a lot from them. It was the largest utility company in the world, and they brought a great deal of financial firepower to us and allowed us to build our company. And then, of course, 4 years ago, E.ON sold our company to PPL. So we have had a lot of exposure to larger companies. We have been a subsidiary for a long time. We've done a lot of best practice work. We've learned worldwide best practices, and it's just been a great run.
Right from the beginning, Vic's climb to the top of the LG&E corporate ladder moved at an aggressive pace as he served in the roles of President of Distribution Services, Chief Financial Officer, and Chief Operating Officer before being promoted to his current position.
He did it all in a time when LG&E was a very exciting company in a very rapidly changing industry. He helped steer the company through acquisitions all over the world. We were buying companies in South America, in Europe, all over the United States, as far away as Washington, California, Texas, Pennsylvania, all over, and then making them better and then turning around and selling them. The company did very well with all of that. We went through so many changes, dramatic stresses on the company, all of which ultimately produced a stronger and better company.
The internationalization that took place during Vic's tenure at LG&E marked a new and very different path for a company that had been locally focused for so long, but it was a development that yielded great dividends.
It was a very constructive exercise because we learned how people were conducting their businesses throughout the world. And we were able to learn best practices from them, how they thought about the future, how they did scenario planning, how they did their financial planning, how they operated their systems. And that kind of learnings helped us bring them back to the United States, and we learned a great deal from them. At the same time, even though we were a very small part of E.ON, in fact, we were only 3% of their revenues, we were able to influence them in ways that go well beyond our relative size. We helped them with culture, diversity, safety, best practices as well. So it was a great information sharing. And I think we learned a lot more from them than they learned from us.
So what was the secret of Vic Staffieri's success in such a complex industry? To hear him tell it, one thing stood out above all others in helping achieve his goals.
I think education to me was probably the most important aspect of my early career. I recognized that it would give you options. And I tell my own children and my employees that education gives you all kinds of options and that people can never take it away from you.
That education included a law degree from Fordham University, and Vic's early experience in the profession was another huge factor in his success in the energy industry.
In an industry that is so heavily regulated, as are we, by both state and federal government, environmental laws, other requirements, I think being a lawyer has been a tremendous advantage to me because we are so heavily regulated. I think understanding those regulations, the interplay between the regulations and the law, and then the impact upon customers, I think my legal background has been very constructive.
As the leader of LG&E, Vic Staffieri is the captain of a very large ship, and it takes a special blend of wisdom, temperament, and vision to keep such a vessel firmly on course.
Vic is a very, very smart guy. He's vitally interested in the welfare of the people with whom he works. He's vitally interested in their career path. He's vitally interested in families and personal issues, and he stays on top of all that. And he understands a huge volume of information, can cut to the chase as what's the important facets of that information and distill it and come up with the right decision time and time again. His focus on detail is amazing. I know that CEOs today are vilified in a variety of ways about being greedy or whatever. I would say for Vic, everyone else comes first, and his interests are well down the line in terms of where his focus is.
Now, looking back, Vic Staffieri's unlikely relocation from the bustle of New York to the bluegrass of Kentucky could hardly have been better for him or for us. It's good to know we were smart enough to welcome him into our sometimes tight little circle, and that through it all, he's always managed to stay focused on what's really important in his life.
This is a very embracing community. It gave us great professional opportunities. My wife and children were very comfortable here. We were embraced by the community. People reached out to us. I had so many good mentors when I first came here, people like Bill Ballard and David Grissom and Roger Hill. They reached out to us and made us feel part of the community, and that helped. That certainly helped. You know, I was going to Europe once a month for more than a decade, going to board meetings and other meetings over there. And without the support of your family and the leadership of your partner, you can't achieve all of that. And so my business success has been driven by my environment at home, and I'm just very fortunate to have it.